Hello there, and welcome to another episode of News from the Gelding. Okay, hello there. I just thought I've done 2 videos this week, but I thought I'd cram in one more, just my usual news item. Just to tell you what's been going on, because I've been off work for 3 weeks. It's the summer holidays, so I don't work. So what have I been up to? I had these grand plans to produce endless amounts of painting and some writing, but very little of that has happened. The main reason being I had a really bad tonsil infection. I've had tonsil problems for about 5 years now. They're constantly enlarged at the back of my throat, and they look fucked on a daily basis. I get pain on and off, but nothing too bad. But at the beginning of breaking up for the summer, probably due to the fact I've been working and then you relax and then all manner of shit goes wrong, I got a terrible infection, and it looked fucked back there, and I thought, this doesn't look good. So I had to call the doctor, managed to talk to him over the phone. They won't see you, just in case you're carrying the plague. And I took a video of my mouth. It's fucking rank. I may put it on here, but it's not very pleasant. You don't want to see it. And I sent it to... I couldn't send it to him because of the antique way they deal with video and images through doctor's surgery. So I said, have you got WhatsApp, doctor? And he said, I have. And I could tell he was a bit reticent to give me his private number, but he did, a good chap. So I sent him the video. He took one look at it and he said, oh, that don't look good. And I thought, right, yeah, I'm going to die. But he said, no, you've got a really bad infection. So he prescribed me some antibiotics, 80 of them, 80 tablets. And I proceeded to gobble them up, but the pain was horrific. I found it really hard to sleep every time I swallowed. Unbearable pain. Anyway, the pain's all gone now. I haven't looked back there since. I don't want to be honest. Once is enough. But anyway, that's all done. But I couldn't work. I was trying to work. I was trying to plan paintings. But after a while, I just thought, fuck it. And I just stayed in bed reading. So, there we are. But I have planned some new paintings. Quite exciting ones for me. These are ones I'm doing for myself. But I may sell them if people are interested. We'll see. But I absolutely love the work of Kip Williams. I don't know if any of you will have heard of him. There's a brilliant documentary I saw on the BBC about 10 years ago about his work. I'd never heard of him before, but he's the one that did the back in the 70s or 80s. He did this children's book called Maskerade, and it was interesting because it was beautifully illustrated, but there was a very complicated puzzle that you could work out. Children wouldn't be able to work it out. I mean, adults struggle to work this thing out. But it led to a buried golden hair somewhere in the UK, somewhere in England. So if you worked it out, you could dig it up and you'd have this really valuable piece of gold. He's a very, very interesting man. Does all different things. Paints, but also lots of other crafts. Very, very clever. Anyway, this documentary is very, very interesting, but it focused more on the work he's been doing since he disappeared, because after being in the limelight for the book, this puzzle book, he went off the radar because he didn't like all of the media attention, because it went worldwide, this thing, and people from all over the world were coming over the UK thinking they'd cracked the code, and so he wanted to get away from that, and he just started painting for himself, selling them, of course, but anyway, they were, I suppose you could say, erotic in nature, but nothing too revealing. I've certainly painted worse. but yeah, I love his style. I mean, it's quite illustrative, but it's very, very, very good. And there's allegorical things going on with the paintings. They mean things. There's symbolism and whatnot. Anyway, I got to meet him one day because I wrote to him and I said, I absolutely love your work and that. And he said, well, come on over, mate. So I went over with Vanessa. We hadn't been together very long then. And I said, look, fancy bimbling up to see Kit Williams. And we went up there. It was interesting. Saw his newest paintings. And I was trying to ask as many questions as I could about technique and whatnot. I couldn't remember much of it afterwards, but and I shook his hand, which I've never washed it since. Not quite, but nice guy. Anyway, so the new one that I've got in my mind, it's going to be in his paying homage to him, I suppose. It's going to be called Maypole. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I've also got a really big antique frame that I'm going to put it in. I bought the frame about 7 years ago in an antique shop. It cost me about 40 quid, I think, 45 quid. It's a big one. I don't know if it's worth that, but it's definitely old. I mean, it's got this really nice antique feel to it. It's not something that someone's cobbled together to look antique like so much of them are these days. This is the real deal. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully in the next few weeks I'm going to start working on that. But I've had some sales recently. So I had a painting sale on eBay. I sold this one that has been kicking around for well over a year. No one seemed to want it. I was trying to sell the bloody thing for 200 quid. That's probably why. But I knocked it down to 80. But even then, no one wanted to buy it. But then out of the blue, this lady, I thought was it a gentleman? I can't remember now. They just paid right near the end of the eBay bidding. They paid full price. Normally, people try and knock you down a bit. Full price, sent it, and they're really happy. So I think it's a couple. And that was nice. And then a bit later on, a chap messaged me, Ziggy Blockley, got your name right this time. Nice chap up in Glasgow. He contacted me through Etsy, saying he really liked my work, and he'd like this particular one, Oubliette 2. This one. But he's a student. I know, struggling for money a bit. I went through the same. If any of you were students, it's not a brilliant time. But he wanted this painting, so he asked if I could put it back until he could afford it. But I said, look, if you take it out, if we start talking outside of Etsy, I'll discount what Etsy charged me. So we came to a understanding there. So hopefully that will be arriving soon, Ziggy. I don't know if you're listening to this. Thanks for choosing some John paintings. Right. Oh, and of course, not forgetting Dick Splash, also known as Chris. He has become a recent patron of my work. I think he's bought 4 paintings of mine so far. And now he's asked me to do a commission. So it's a portrait, family one, of 2 people. I don't know if I'll show it on here. It's his thing, so I don't know whether he'll want that shown. But anyway, this is a message for you, Chris. I've got the canvas. It arrived, but it arrived damaged, and there's a dent on one of the sides of the canvas, which is not good enough. And I've emailed the company and I've said about it, and they're trying to give me a 20% discount on the canvas. I don't give a shit about that. I just want a good canvas. So I've said, look, I'll just buy another one. You pay for postage. Job's a good one. Hopefully they'll go for that. I mean, they're making a little bit more money. I don't want a dented fucking canvas for me old mate Dick Splash. So this one, I'll do something with it, and I don't know. Who knows? Right. What else? What else have I been up to? Well, I've been selling shit as well on eBay. So we live in a very small apartment. It's not, well, it is pretty small to be fair. It's an old Georgian, these are all Georgian houses and they've all been chopped up into little apartments. And I've got too much bloody crap everywhere. Most of it's old retro gaming paraphernalia. I'll stick some photographs up here. We've got an old Sinclair, the first Spectrum. All of the Amiga discs, floppy disks. I've got a great big pile of boxed Amiga games here. Sold an old camera, a telescope, various things that I've used in the past for making films or whatever. I'm just trying to get rid of it, trying to declutter the place. I love retro gaming, but I'm not so interested in the hardware side of things anymore. So just getting rid of it. I play games on emulators now, and if you don't already know, I've got a retro gaming channel linked down below. On my main channel page, there's a link down below if you're interested. It's just me playing games badly, swearing, vaping, drinking beer, generally just having a jolly good time. Okay, so there we are. That's the other thing I've been doing. Yeah, and the other thing is I don't get paid during the holiday time, so I'm trying to make a little bit of money to top off, you know what I mean. Right, well, point number 4 now. Yeah, I've already done that, but yeah, I did a couple of videos. So I did a review of Clive Barker's Scarlet Gospels and another one about packaging paintings, which is Ziggy's painting actually. But also, yeah, I'm definitely reading a bit more. At the moment, I'm reading this. I've decided every time I finish reading a book, I'm going to review it on here. So why not? I do get quite a bit of views on book reviews. Anyway, I'm reading this. The Body Snatchers. Jack Finney. Written in 1955, I think. The year of my father's birth. I've got some way into it and I'm really enjoying it. Brilliantly, it's very nicely written. It's certainly of its time. It's dated, but it's of that era, 50s America. But yeah, it's got a really nice feel to it. The idea that people they're living with like family members and they talk like them, they have the same mannerisms, they look like them, identical to them, but they're not. They just know they're not those people. Wow. Yeah, quite powerful. I mean, everyone knows about this. I mean, it's fully immersed in popular culture. It has been since the films and all that. Anyway, I'll do a review about that. Okay, right. So yeah, I did some paintings right at the very beginning, so I'm going to show you those now. Very different to what I normally do. Sorry, I didn't prepare for this. Let's get this bloody flute out of the way. Right, they're up in the drying rack. They're all dry there. Right, so these are... Oh, I'll wait because the bloody microphone ain't going to pick it up. Right, there should be another one somewhere. Yeah. Right, I've done 4 of them. My sister Adele had some canvases that she got from somewhere and asked if I would like to do some paintings on them. So I did. So I'll just show you them relatively quickly. These are very abstract. So here we are. So these were done entirely, more or less, with a palette knife. I did a background. It's all wet on wet from a blank canvas. I just use a normal brush to get the background, then just daubed this on with a palette knife. There's that one. What else have I got here? Another one in the same style, same colour palette. I use the same colours. Don't know why I chose them or what I was thinking of really, but I'll talk about that in a moment. I'll just show you them first. And there's this one. There we go. And we've also got this one, slightly more representational, kind of a city, neon city kind of thing. There we go. I'll leave one out for now, but so abstract art is easily dismissed as something anyone could do. And to a certain extent, I agree. I mean, I think some people, they bang out paintings, abstract ones, because they're easy, relatively in terms of time, but they're not. They're deceptively difficult. I found this an interesting exercise in something out of my comfort zone, because my work is normally very controlled and representational. I'm not used to abstracting things to this extent. I know I do abstract backgrounds for paintings. Those are quite easy to do. But when you're actually using some form within the abstraction, that's when it becomes a different proposition altogether. You're thinking about form placement, negative space, all kinds of things as you're going along. And so you're doing it quite intuitively, automatically. That's the way I was doing it. I didn't plan any of these paintings. I just did them. But they're not selling. I had some interest at the beginning when I first put them on. People were watching them, but I think maybe it's just other artists watching them thinking, is he selling that shit? If that sells, I'm doing those. Maybe it was that. I'm selling them for 30 quid a piece. I'll knock them down to 20 maybe, just to get rid of them. But there's two of those that I really like. So I like that orange one I just showed you, and I also really like Something Happened. This one here. I mean, something happened when I was doing it. It felt right in a weird kind of thing. It's that way around. It felt right. Does that make sense? Just worked. I don't know. Anyway, those are my new paintings. Gonna be going now. Gonna pop down and see my sister. She's got a coffee van down by the river. Fancy a coffee and a bit of cake. The last thing I'll say is that I'm dreading going back to work. I've got 2 and a bit weeks left, but I've just had enough of that job. So I just drive. It's a school run job, but it's a bloody long one. We're talking almost 150 miles a day I'm driving. Same bastard route every day, and I've got to the point now where I just can't be asked. The prospect of doing that for another year it's not good. Anyway, I'm sure people do worse jobs than that. It's repetition. It's just boring the tits off me. Anyway, there we are. Thanks for watching. Sir Percival's not talking today, thank God. So he's not going to say goodbye, but I will. Cheerio.
Up yours, you cunt.
Fuck's sake. He is a dick, isn't he? Anyway, cheerio.